Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and the mini set hasn't been out for too long, a little bit less than a week, but typically we get enough data in, and like we like to do on this channel for every major content drop, we go over to HS Replay, which we are sponsored by the way. Shout out to them if you haven't checked them out already. We're gonna take a look up here at cards and not necessarily look at like what the best cards are. Well, this is, you know, in current standard elites, but we're gonna look through the mini set cards, sorting from the patch of when Echoes of the Infinite went live, and sort Diamond through Legend, rank them based on drawn win rate, and take a look at what the worst of the worst cards are so far from the mini set, which ones are likely to get buffed basically, which usually ends up happening a lot of the time when we do these videos. And yeah, talk about that, and it's just fun to take a look at it, how bad things can be, you know, rather than what's broken, which we talk about like 90% of the time on the channel. And yes, some of these cards are shockingly bad. Anyways, if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as it helps the channel out a lot. And yeah, let's take a look at what the worst cards are. I'll give a quick shout out, an honorable mention to what Roarin seems to be calling the worst card ever. It's actually number 11. Number 11, Endtime Erzon, just misses the cut of the top 10, and it's played a lot more than a lot of the other cards on this list. So, you know, it's terrible, but not quite bottom 10 terrible. But you know what is? At number 10, we have a dual class card. And by the way, there's only one neutral card on here. Since it's a mini set, I'll include neutrals. There's only one neutral card here. But yes, the Enduring Roach, a 3-mana 3/4 Druid and Demon Hunter card that reads, after you use your hero power, refresh 2 mana crystals. It is in 0.2% of decks, has been played 700 times, and has a drawn win rate of 38.7%. There's just not really a huge benefit in standard right now to refreshing or getting 2 mana from your hero power. In Demon Hunter, you actually, you know, get a bit more of a boost in this than Druid, unless, you know, Druid has the 0 mana hero power from that one imbue style card. But overall, there's not really a payoff for this. There's not really a reason to run this in your deck. Whereas in Wild, there's some more things you can do there. But until there's like a reason, and we're gonna note a lot of that for a lot of these cards, there's just no reason to play them. There's not enough around them for them to work. So yeah, as a result, Enduring Roach is enduring in the bottom 10 of our list. At number 9, we have a card that nobody thought would be good, the Voodoo Totem, a 2-mana 0/4 totem for both Shaman and Priest. At the end of your turn, get a random shadow spell. It is in 0.1% of decks, has been played all of 390 times, and has a drawn win rate of 38.5%. I just don't know what you're doing with this card. In Shaman, no real totem stuff going on. You don't really care about random shadow spells, which can be terrible. Like, you don't know if it's really going to work out for you. Technically, in Priest, you have the quest, which is not good, and you could get a shadow spell for that quest, but you don't really need that. You already have the drink, and it's still not good enough as is. There's just, again, no point for this card. It's crazy that there's a neutral version that, to be fair, isn't a totem, but that can just give you nature spells, and this is a dual class card. It just feels like a waste to me, and yes, it is number 9 on the list. What might surprise you here, though, at number 8, is Finality, the 3-mana Death Knight spell. Draw an undead, imbue your hero power twice, and that imbue is a passive. I think it's the first time you play an undead this turn, it gets +1 attack. That can be all improved. This is in 0.6% of decks, has been played 2,500 times, and has a drawn win rate of 37.1%. The reason I say it might surprise you is that it's not lower on the list, because this imbue hero power is terrible. It just, again, what is really the point? There are very few undeads to hit, and they're all things that you could just hand buff anyways, and then they'll get the health, and like, it just works better, and that package isn't good enough to be competitive. I tweeted this image out of what I feel like the imbue hero power should read right now. It's just a downgrade. It's the only hero power that I feel like is a straight up downgrade for the most part right now. There's just not enough to make this worth even considering. People are trying, and I feel like Finality might be a bit higher because it draws an undead, and that could be good for you. And the other imbue card for Deathlight is also a rogue card, and that deck is actually pretty good, so the win rate bumps it up, and it's not even on here. So yes, the Deathlight imbue does make the list, but it is by far not the worst card. So how about that? At number 7, we have a card I rated, I think, a 3 out of 5, and I'm kind of surprised it's this low, although I guess, you know, stats sometimes don't matter. The Acolyte of Affinity, the 3-mana 5/5 Warlock Dragon with Battle Cry. Set the cost of a random card in your hand to infinity. Death Rattle, change it back. It is in 0.8% of decks. It has been played 2,100 times, the third most on this list, and is a drawn win rate of 36.7%. Just thought it would go well in Shred's Warlock, but I don't know, maybe Shred's Warlock just isn't doing very good, and this card as a result not doing amazing. And also it is just a 3-mana 5/5. It's not even a 5/6, and you do get a downgrade. Obviously, if that card in your hand you can't play, you want to, that sucks. And overall, yeah, just not really making the cut. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a player later. I know maybe I'm coping on my bad rating on it, but I feel like it's just, again, Shred Warlock, there's a lot better decks out there over the aggressive Warlock decks, and I feel like this is more of a symptom of the card being in a deck that's not amazing and probably not being one of the better cards at all in it, to be completely fair. At number 6, and I'm not surprised on this one at all, it is the Endtime Survivor, a 5-mana 5/6 Warlock and Warrior minion. It has Taunt, Battle Cry. If your hero takes damage this turn, gain +3/+3. It's in 0.2% of decks. Has been played all of 260 times and has a Tron win rate of 36%. I tweeted out an image of all the conditional like stat bombs for 5 mana the Warriors had, and almost none of them have seen competitive play. Some have seen fringe play here and there, but it's just been a trend. And Warlock, sure, they could try and utilize it. They have more self-damaging effects, but just it's never worth it. It's just never worth it. It's just stats. And again, we got poisonous taunts out there for 4 mana that could just eat this alive anyways. Yeah, the card's not doing great, and as a result, it doesn't quite make the top 5, but it's really close. At number 5, we have another card I rated a 3, and it is seen play in Wild, where I figured it would be better, and that is the Chronoclaws, a 4-mana 4/3 weapon for Hunter and Warlock. It reads, after your hero attacks, discard your highest cost card. It is in 0.6% of decks. It's been played 940 times and has a drawn win rate of 30.2%. You lose a card just to deal 4 damage. There's no real discard synergies unlike Wild right now, and you want to play this, I guess, maybe with the quest, which, yes, it's on the list. Of course it is. So yeah, that's not going to work very well if it's good with a terrible card. And overall, yeah, it's 12 bursts for 4. It's just the downgrade of losing that. And plus, there's a lot of taunts out there. There's Zilliax and Lifesteal. It can be hard to burn people out. And aggro decks right now are just not doing very well in Standard for the most part. And as a result, Chronoclaws begins our top 5. At number 4, we have yet another card that's not necessarily bad, but has no home right now, and that is Splintered Reality, a 4-mana nature spell for Druid. You summon 2/2 treants that gain +1/+1 for each friendly treant that died this game. It is in 0.06% of decks. It is the least played card on this list with 200 times played and has a drawn win rate of 29.5%, which is pretty brutal. I'll just put this image up. This is the treant cards in Standard. How are you supposed to make this work? There's just not a treant deck out there right now. There's nothing to do with this, and this card needs to reliably have other treants die, and then you have to put whatever those cards are in. It's not going to work. It hasn't. Maybe we'll see with like the next expansion and rotation. Maybe there'll be something for it, but right now it's a decent card with absolutely no home. At number 3, we have what could be the worst quest of all time, the dual class quest for Hunter and Warlock. Battle at the end of time, fill your hand, then empty it. Your reward, Tick and Talk, which is a 5-mana 8/8 dragon. Battle Cry, you fill your hand until your hand is full, and I believe Death Rattle is like discard your opponent's hand. So that's pretty good if you can get to it, I guess. It is in 1.4% of decks, the most played card on this list, with 6,200 times played and a drawn win rate. And you draw this every game. It's always in your opener, right? 28.4%. It's technically tied with number 2, actually, but I guess there's some rounding things here. Regardless, yeah, this card's terrible, right? You have to build your deck in such a weird way to fill your hand. Then you got to discard your hand. Then you got to play that 5-mana 8/8. You need it to die. You need that to win you the game. To be fair, it is a very powerful 5-mana dragon. For sure, that can be pretty good. But again, to complete, especially as Warlock, nearly impossible. And I feel like this is not only the worst quest in terms of win rate, which it arguably could be, only like the Shuffle Rogue quest could be arguably worse. The worst part about this card, if it was somehow ever actually good, it would have to be nerfed because it's such an unbelievably toxic gameplay style where they design it particularly to be bad because the reward would be really gross. Why make cards like this at all? I'll never get it. I guess it's supposed to be for, like, you know, the Timmies or whatever the world that want to do crazy weird things, but overall, to have your first ever dual class quest and it's like this, just kind of gross. And do you want to buff this? I don't even, like, how do you buff this? It's such a weird one. I think it's kind of destined to be terrible unless some broken card combination comes around that just doesn't exist right now in either standard or wild. At number 2, we have yet another card that's not particularly bad, but has no home in Haywire Hornswog, a 6-mana 4/6 beast and dragon. It has elusive, it has taunt, and it costs 1 less for each mana crystal you've overloaded this game. It is in 0.1% of decks. It has been played 260 times and has a drawn win rate of 28.4%. There's just not a good overload deck. There's no reason to play a bunch of overload, and plus overload punishes you, right? Most classes just get bonus things for free, like Deja Vu. You get to take a card from your opponent's hand and you get a mana cheat on it and you get hand information. For overload, I actually have to waste some mana the next turn, and that's brutal, especially in a game like today right now where tempo is king, going first is king. This really hurts. And one of the big things that was pushed for Shaman this year was Imbue, which also sucks, but you can't even cheat this out and evolve it, right? Because you can't even target it. It just has no home, doesn't make sense with pretty much the entirety of the Shaman standard year. And as a result, it's number 2, even though in theory, it could be pretty good to cheat out a taunt if you're overloading, and that's a good strategy. And at number 1, we have the only neutral card on the list, and it really brings home the point that fatigue in Hearthstone, not really a thing right now these days. And that is Omen of the End, a 5-mana 5/5 dragon battle cry. If your deck is empty, destroy the top 5 cards of the enemy deck. This is in 0.2% of decks, has been played 270 times, and has a drawn win rate of 25%. I mean, how many games go to fatigue these days? Almost none. Do you care about deleting your opponent's cards? For the most part, there's not usually like one specific card that's going to win your opponent the game. You also have to build your deck in a way that you're going to cycle through really fast. So play Rogue or maybe Demon Hunter. And then this is a way to win, which rarely is. And let's say your opponent's played Kill Jaden. This actually does nothing. Not that Kill Jaden is as meta as he used to be. It's just a card that doesn't make sense in today's game of value and basically fatigue being irrelevant. That Omen of the End, yeah, it'll bring the end of the game, but most likely it's going to be for you. So there you go. Those are the worst cards so far for the mini set. Do you think any of these should be buffed? Are you surprised any didn't make the list? If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.